After many snippets that we populated on our YouTube channel, we figured that you might be getting just a wee bit tired of these short little videos and are hunkering for a proper review. Now, when we first met this unit, it was in the confines and private roads of Tagaytay Highlands. But this time, well, the honeymoon stage might be over because now we're in the real world. The question is it still as sweet as when we first met? This is the 2021 D-MAX 4x4 LS-E. AutoDeal.com.ph can connect you to get the best quote from multiple dealerships near you. You can request and compare quotes from any dealership in the Philippines. Get the best deal with AutoDeal. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this third generation looks absolutely tough on any terrain. It's the perfect mix of form and function. Now, we're massive fans of the huge dark colored grille, the LED headlights with fog lamps and DRLs, and just the general meanness of the whole package. 240 millimeters of ground clearance, which is more than enough to tackle the urban jungle, and it has a bunch of other inclusions such as full under chassis protection that'll help you protect from rocks, dust, debris while you're out there and about bombing the trails. Overall, we did love the D-MAX then, and we love it still till today. Our only gripe, however, are the 18-inch blacked out mags. Granted, they are blacked out, but like I said, they kind of look like an electric fan, don't you think? I could use one of those things right now, actually. Man, it's hot. Now, the bed of the D-MAX comes in at 1,495 millimeters in length, over 1,500 millimeters in width, and 490 millimeters in height, which equates to about 1,120 liters of space, and that's a pretty good number. The maximum payload capacity of the D-MAX is 1,000 kilograms, or 1,065 to be precise. But it does so with one less leaf spring and a softer ride. And another bonus is that you get a bed liner with this guy and, well, other cargo solutions like the roof rails, which can handle up to 100 kilograms of weight. Now, we're glad to see that there are metal slats that help support the tailgate. I just wish that, well, it wasn't so noisy really, or maybe I'm just getting old. Jack, you're supposed to say, no, you're not getting old. You're supposed to say you're looking young, Kako.
Younger than ever, pal.
You're so full of sh**. Now, while the space back here is basically just average, because that's Jack's normal driving position, he's 6 foot something, I'm 5 foot, never mind. What's really amazing back here is the plushness of this leather. If this is Isuzu's durable leather, wrap me up in this stuff, man, because this is absolutely nice. It's got toys back here too, like a center armrest with 2 cup holders, ball holders on either side, air vents found up front. You got even speakers on the door and on the ceiling. But the biggest, yet the smallest thing back here is what impresses me most, because there is a 5-volt, 2.1 ampere USB charging point. Now, in today's world, compared to the previous D-MAX, this thing is living in the now. Using the power seats to get into my natural driving position. Look at this interior. Are you not entertained? Look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like Isuzu was designing to leave itself in the dust, because the difference between this guy and the previous generation is really night and day. I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. It's not bland and drab black plastics like before. It's lighter, supple, and loads of interesting cowhide wrapping nearly every surface that you will touch. From the dash, to the door cards, to the seats, the armrest, and also the steering wheel. It's just that good. And it's all stitched really well. So there are actually threads that you can count in traffic if you want. And the one nice thing that is there, that there are no fake threads here. Everything is so refined. Even the controls for the dual zone automatic climate control feels special to use. There are still plastics that can be found all over the dash, but it blends in really well and just disappears nicely. However, there are scratch magnet black plastics that can be found all over the car, and that might get old really quick. Don't say my age, Jack. No.
I'm not saying anything. You're the one.
You were thinking it. You were thinking it. Thinking it is already halfway there, Jack. The one thing that I really do love about the interior is the steering wheel. It absolutely feels good to the touch. The buttons are absolutely great, and it just doesn't feel like it belongs in an Isuzu. They've done such a great job. Then you've got other toys in here, like a 10.1-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which screams size does matter, and it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Plus a very familiar looking clinometer, treat for you if you can guess what car's interface it looks like, and a sound system with a pretty advanced setup with 8 speakers, and we like what Isuzu has done to the music because it sounds darn good. And it even gets Isuzu's advanced driver assist systems, which include a forward collision warning system, autonomous emergency braking, turn assist, misapplication mitigation, and so much more. Like, man, it's one thing to expect all these features on, let's say, a Ford F-150 or a Tesla, but an Isuzu? Props, man, props. Now, let's find out if this thing does actually drive like a wet dream, or maybe just a dream. Jack, head out of the gutter, man, seriously. Dude, you wrote that part. It was you, come on, admit it. Other tech and safety features of the D-MAX include driver, front passenger side curtain, and driver knee airbags, ABS with EBD, electronic stability control, brake assist, brake override system, hill start assist, hill descent control, Isuzu's advanced driver assist system, front and rear parking sensors, and ISOFIX tethers. Although I wish it had ejector seats and get Jack out of this chair. Now we're back behind the wheel of the D-MAX, and to be frank with you, it's actually a smooth drive when you're on smooth roads, but we're no longer in the confines of Tagaytay Highlands. Now we're in the real world, and to be honest with you, well, yeah, as you can tell, it's a bit bouncy. So to be honest, to be brutally honest, we're really not too sure about that softer leaf spring found in the back. Now, we do understand it is a pickup truck, but we've driven more comfortable pickup trucks in the past. It is a heap of a lot better than the previous model, don't get us wrong. But to be honest with you, it just still has a very much of a workhorse feel. Even on highway terrain tires, the D-MAX does well of insulating you from the noise outside. Yes, the wind noise will come in, the engine noise, yeah, will kind of creep up on you. But anything that you pass over, yeah, you're not gonna hear anything. Like when you're going over potholes, you don't hear it. When you go over Jack's foot and he screams, don't hear it. I'm really sorry about that, by the way. Now, handling-wise, it feels like it's gotten heavier. Also because we've experienced the Ford Ranger, which has a ridiculously light steering. But if you ask me, this is a pretty close first or second runner-up for the lightest steering in the segment. Another thing that we have to point out is that you will feel the weight of this thing when moving, but it gets up and goes pretty well. It's got a 3-liter turbodiesel motor that produces 187 horses and 450 Nm of torque, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, Isuzu has a smaller engine option in the form of the 1.9-liter RZ4E, but this engine, man, it's fun. It's so much fun to ring out. The torque hits you higher in the rev range than what we're used to, but man, when it hits, it hits. Now, in terms of power figures, it's up to par with the rest of the industry. And in terms of fuel economy, it's really not all that bad. Check it out. Inside heavy traffic, we were doing 8 kilometers per liter. A little better when it cleared up to about 10.8 kilometers per liter. On the highway, we were able to stretch its legs up to 17 kilometers per liter. So really, if you think about it, that's not bad considering this is a 3-liter diesel. So after putting some decent kilometers on it, are we still in the honeymoon phase? To be honest with you, no, not really. I mean, after all, the car is starting to show some of its quirks. Sure, there are a few things that we would like to change or have, like better ride quality and the sensitivity of forward collision warning, but honestly, with the interior, it more than makes up for its shortcomings. Seriously, this thing beeps more often than the bleeps on an episode of Orange County Choppers, man. This is ridiculous. You get any distance to a car and it just starts beeping like there's no tomorrow, man. Now, standing on its own against its former self, the transformation is absolutely amazing. It's so great to be able to pit this guy up against its former self and see the changes that it's gone through. Those changes, however, do come at a price. This new rig is 1,825,000 Philippine pesos. Now, if you're thinking that's a bit on the expensive side, hear me out. The other manufacturers out there are asking for roughly the same price for their top-of-the-line 4x4 rig, which is exactly what this guy is. Now, how it fares up against the competition, well, that's another video and we'll save that for another time. But in the context of what it is compared to its former self, the honeymoon stage may not just be a stage, and you possibly could live happily ever after. So sensitive. Why can't it be like dull as a Kardashian? Oh. So sensitive like a millennial.
Huh?